Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. Well, here's a headline you don't see very often. RFK Jr. once chopped off a dead raccoon's penis to study later while on a family road trip.
Why?
Let's remember.
Why did he do that to the raccoon?
Well, let me.
Why did he do that to the bear cub? Why?
So I was going to
Why?
say, you thought that the dumping of the body of a bear in Central Park would be the most bizarre story linking Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and a dead mammal.
Why would
Because
you want
let's also remember,
raccoons?
of course, he has a worm in his brain.
But does the worm on his brain explain this? Robert F. Kennedy Jr., an avid animal genitalia researcher in his spare time, once pulled the family sedan to the side of the road after spying a dead raccoon and swiftly cut off its sex organs so he could study them later. The bizarre account of the nation's Health and Human Services Secretary is in a new book titled RFK Jr., The Fall and Rise by Isabel Vincent.
How did he cut it off? Like with what?
How do you find it?
How do you find a dead raccoon penis? That was MS Now's Mike Barnacle.
How do you find the penis of a dead raccoon?
Wait, was it
How many
dead?
times have you asked
Was it
that?
dead?
That's a very good question.
I'm so
Hold on. That's
confused.
also. The Post reminds me. I
Who's
sold
dead?
him short.
Who's dead?
Let's remember the time that he also found the whale carcass and used a chainsaw to cut off the whale. I mean, this is, first of all, again, tremendous reporting here by the New York Post. This is what we need.
And great questions and answers by the team at MS Now.
It does not appear to be me to answer your question, detailing as to how he did it. But I assume a man of science like this would just carry the tools with him at any time in case he encounters a dead animal which he needs to sever its penis.
Every part of the buffalo you use.
That's right.
As the proverb says.
That's a long
During
stop
the
with kids in the car.
conversation, we
Buffalo
have
penis.
A long stop with kids in the car, buffalo penis. That again was Mike Barnacle. But back to RFK Jr., an avid animal genitalia researcher.
There's something really wrong with him. There's something really
Mika,
wrong
you're
with him.
You're asking the question that family members and close friends have been asking literally for decades now.
And there's a really serious
they used to
part
ask,
of this.
They used to ask that question. Now all of America gets to ask the question.
The raccoon penis questions did not get asked, though, hours later when RFK Jr. testified to a House budget hearing. Instead, Democrat Mike Thompson of California tried to make a point about RFK Jr. by asking something simple.
Mr. Secretary, let's start with an easy one. Do you have a medical or public health degree?
No.
No?
No.
Yet you're overruling doctors, scientists, and public health experts across our country. Your dangerous conspiracy theories are undermining safe and effective vaccines. Mr. Secretary, I want to echo my friend, the ranking member's comments about polio. I remember as a kid, kids older than me in school with me who got polio. They live with the lasting impacts of that infection for the rest of their lives. I was fortunate to get the polio vaccine, and I was fortunate to never get polio because of that vaccine. Because we're about the same age, I'm sure you have similar experiences. But now you undermine vaccines and are helping make diseases deadly again.
Over the past year, RFK Jr. stopped the government's pro-vaccine messaging and advertisements. Measles cases in the United States have now exploded.
Country in the world.
President Trump approve your decision to end the CDC's pro-vaccine public messaging campaign?
We've done better at preventing
That's not
measles
answering my question.
and ending the
sir.
epidemic
That is
than
not
any
answering my
country
question. And I
in the
think you don't
world.
want to answer the question because I think you know
I want to
that
respond
you
to
are
your
making
misinformation.
Terrible decisions that impact very, very real lives, especially the lives of children. Now, one thing that I find incredible is that you suspended this pro-vaccine messaging campaign, but somehow you're spending taxpayer dollars to drink milk shirtless in a hot tub with Kid Rock. And somehow you think that's a better public health message
Your time is
than
expired
informing
by a
the
minute.
public about the importance of vaccines?
Gentlelady's time is expired.
Really? I yield back.
Since the time expired, RFK Jr. did not have to answer for the milk message with Kid Rock. And sadly, nobody brought that up again or asked Robert Kennedy Jr. about his unconventional experiences and perspective regarding germs.
Yeah. And I said, I'm not scared of a germ. You know, I used to snort cocaine off of toilet seats.
RFK Jr.'s hobby doing animal genitalia research also did not come up at the House hearing, which is too bad. Because as the New York Post reported, and MS Now repeated, it does not appear that RFK Jr.'s research on animal penises have ever yielded a published paper.
So far, the results of Kennedy's rigorous whale head and raccoon penis studies have not been publicly disclosed.
After MS Now spent 5 minutes talking about RFK Jr. and his roadkill raccoon penis dissections, the discussion came to a remarkable close thanks to New York Times reporter Peter Baker's response to Joe Scarborough.
Mr. Baker, would you like to comment on the rigorous research that the head of the HHS has been undergoing for years? What can you tell us about RFK Jr. and this?
Which of us hasn't? Come on, you know, before we throw stones. Yeah.
I have never cut off a raccoon's penis, and I don't know anybody who has. I suppose the silver lining in all of this is that we can still laugh about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., because there's so much about what he and the Trump administration are doing that is reckless, dangerous, and yes, bizarre. By the way, racial tensions are growing in Brooklyn, New York, after 2 white cops beat a black man for what they called resisting.
All right. Why are you punching him?
In a Brooklyn, New York liquor store, those are 2 white police officers beating a black man. According to the cops, the man matched the description of a suspect in a drug case and resisted arrest.
What's your badge? What's your badge number? What's your badge number? Why are you punching him like that?
From the broken glass, the man has a bad cut on his leg, but one officer kicks him in the face.
Give me your hand!
And then the officer steps on his wounded leg.
Now he violated. Y'all violated, punching that man for no reason. I got it all on video.
Can't resist arrest.
He wasn't resisting arrest. He was not arrest.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from John, who wrote, "Those cops are criminals." I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. getting shredded, at least on cable news, for allegedly cutting off and keeping a raccoon penis. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.